Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today I am very excited to be going through my October daily 2021 with you. I finally finished. So I have 2 albums, which it always seems to take me 2 albums. So I have one through the 16th in this one, and then the 17th through the 31st in the second album. These are 4x6 linen albums from Ali Edwards. I think these were from her Day in the Life collection from 2021, I want to say. And I don't believe they're available from her shop anymore. And this size of album is really hard to find, and that's a bummer because I really enjoyed this size a lot. So I think if I could find another album of this size, I would do it again, but I think it's just too hard to find them. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started. And I always start with a cover page that I laminate. And I just think it just makes it a nice cover and kind of protects the other pages from the rings a little bit. So I'm using the Halloween Party Collection. I believe it's from Echo Park. And then I have some Tim Holtz. This is a baseboard. This is a Tim Holtz token, some mummy cloth, and just some other twine. Here, these are Tim Holtz hardware heads, and then this is from the Halloween Party Collection, just a die cut. On the inside, inside cover here, I have, I can't remember what he calls these. I think they're like a word phrase. I cannot remember, but it just says evidence here. I have 31. This is from his ephemera collection, and then I stamped out October 2021. Then I made just kind of another intro page here. This is a Heidi Swap tag with some rope tied on it, and I didn't add anything on to the back. I just kind of liked the way that this looked, so I left it alone. And I added this bat charm, which is from Tim Holtz. This is from the Halloween Party Collection, a frame, and then these are from Heidi Swap. And I did slit the 2 holes on the front here so that I could flip this down and add a full-size photo. And this is a picture of my husband and I on Halloween night in our costumes. It's a little hard to take off the rings because this is so stuffed, but these 2 are not slit, so it stays in the rings, and then I just slit the first 2 to flip that down. Behind that, I have my October calendar. This is from Color Cast Designs. I don't honestly remember where I got this calendar from. And I didn't put anything on it. I just left it blank, and I'm fine with that. I decided not to do anything here. I just like seeing what days of the week the days fell on in October this year. So for day 1, I am telling the story of, I guess, just the tags of me and Kevin. So it's our ages and a photo of us. So on the front, I just stamped the initial and then our age and then a photo on the back, and just added a Tim Holtz token and some little ephemera and tied it with some ribbon. So here's mine. And these pockets are made with Heidi Swap paper from her Halloween 2021 collection. And this ghost paper was my favorite. I love that from her collection. So we went on a trip from days 2 through 9. So that's what the next few days are going to be here. And so it's not like as Halloweenish. It's more fall, travel related. We flew from Phoenix to Dallas, Fort Worth to Buffalo, New York. And here I just have a little tag that talks about our travel day. Our travel day on the back. And these clear pockets are always hard to get the paper back into. So this page, I just put some of our travel, like boarding passes, pictures from our travel, and then an overall journaling on why we were going on this trip, which was actually for our 20-year wedding anniversary. So we did, I called it an East Coast road trip, and we flew into Buffalo, New York, we went to Niagara Falls, and then we drove from Niagara Falls all the way over to Salem, Boston, stayed there for a few days, drove up the coast to Portland, Maine, and we were there for overnight. And then we drove up to Bar Harbor and stayed there and went to Acadia National Park and then flew home. So just more photos here, and I've covered up our information from our boarding passes. So that's what those stickies are. Just me on the plane, me and Kevin on the plane. Day 3, this is us in Niagara Falls. It was so fun. I added a little pocket here and just added my journaling, and I added these 2 tickets. And this was, these are actually made in Photoshop. So I wasn't able to keep the tickets, and I asked the guy that was taking the tickets if I could have them, and he's like, no, don't let you have them. So I'm like, okay, well, let me take a picture of them. So I did that, and then I made these tickets in Photoshop. And added a sticker here on the back, added the sticker with the date that we were there, and then did more journaling of all the different things that we did while we were in Niagara Falls, and our Cave of the Winds tickets, which again, these are made in Photoshop. The life of a memory keeper, right? You always are like, can I have that? At least I am always. My favorite pictures from our trip there, we got soaked. It was so cold and rainy there that day, but it was really fun. The next day, this is when we were driving over from Niagara Falls to Salem, Boston area. We drove through New York, and we stopped at Sequoia Falls in Montour Falls, New York, and had lunch there. This was the waterfall, the Sequoia Falls there. And then we drove to this, I think it's Tugganook Falls in New York, and it was so, like, it's a state park, and we drove into the entrance of the state park, and it was so foggy and eerie. It was really, really cool. It was very fall Halloween. So I had to add bats because it seemed like, you know, a place where bats would be flying around. Day 5, we were in Boston, and I loved going to Cheers, so I picked that as my story for day 5. I have another little journaling tag here, a Cheers name tag. So they had name tags where you could put your name, and then everyone would know your name at Cheers. So I just stamped the date there. This is a photo of Kevin in front of Cheers. This is our napkin. So I picked up a couple of napkins while we were there, and this one I cut down so it would fit in here, and then just laminated it and added a little tag. I made this pocket, and I actually have a tutorial on making pockets, and this one I made during that tutorial. So if you want to see how this was made, you can check out that video. I've just included some extra photos of us at Cheers. So here's us at the bar, and this was us at the front door. On the inside, Cheers glass, and then the Cheers front door. These are from the Heidi Swap Art Walk collection. And this is from Tim Holtz. So I like to add a little trim or something on the pocket just to give it some extra, something extra. And this is mummy cloth. Then on the back, we were in Salem. So I added a Salem sticker here, and then we did a lot of stuff in Salem in one day. It was kind of crazy. Well, I guess it was a day and a half. So we did the, what is this? The Witch House tour. We did lots of shopping. So we found a Zoltar machine, and we got our fortunes at Zoltar. And again, these I made in Photoshop just by scanning our Zoltar tickets, because I'm going to be making a full-size travel album of this trip, so I wanted to keep the real ephemera for that album, so I just kind of copied it for here. This is our ticket to the Witch Museum. So again, this is just made in Photoshop. And I have extra stickers. I have business cards of places that we went. And then I just have a little tag from Allie Edwards' travel collection that says stuff from the journey. And that all just fits right inside this pocket here. This sticker, I've only peeled off the back of half of it so that it doesn't, that I can have it overlap with the stuff in the pocket and not stick to it. Then I have a little flip up journaling here. So I have a photo of myself. This is me at the Gulu Gulu Cafe with my new witch hat that I picked up in Salem, and I was just having a really good day. I was really happy. I loved being there. So I wanted to take a picture or have a picture of myself to remember that by, and just did some journaling about that. This was one of my favorite shops there, so I got a sticker from them and added it into my album. Day 6, we were again driving from Salem over to Portland, Maine. And so we stopped in Ipswich and we toured this estate. So this is the Crane Estate at Castle Hill. It's a huge mansion it's on a hill and it goes down to the Atlantic Ocean. And we were able to tour the first floor and then all the grounds of the house. And it was huge and it was fun. Loved doing that. And of course, I had to find I think they had mostly like yellow, orange trees, but I found this red one, which was bright red. Loved it. So I ended up picking up some leaves to take home with me from there. And they actually work really well if you laminate them. When they're really dry, they'll just be preserved really well if you laminate them. So I have this one. I had one in my Project Life album, and then I have one that I picked up for my travel album whenever I get to that. Some journaling and then a photo of me in front of the tree. Day 7, we were finally in Maine. So we were in Portland, Maine. We went and toured the Portland Head Lighthouse. And this is a picture of us driving because we spent a lot of time in our rental Jeep and with the top off. And it was kind of cold, so we went and got some hot pumpkin spice lattes from Dunkin' Donuts. So here I'm talking about how we saw Dunkin' Donuts everywhere on the East Coast, which was really cool. Loved it. And I was also kind of getting a sore throat and getting a cold. I think I got a 24-hour bug while we were in Portland. So the pumpkin spice latte just felt really good on my throat and it was delicious and I loved it. Then in Bar Harbor, we were in Maine, so we had to go get a lobster. And Kevin, I had him get the full lobster that wasn't shelled so I could get a picture. You know, you have to have the full lobster picture, right? And there's a picture of him smiling with his lobster. And then this side is my lobster, which I had them shell and cut and all that. And we stayed at the Bayview Hotel, which was a really nice hotel on the water. And let's see, this is our towelette from the restaurant. Just a picture or a sticker, another sticker. And this is another one that I slit the front holes so it slides down and you can see this full photo. I did cut this one in the middle just to make it fold a little flatter. The other one I didn't, and it is a little bulkier and it doesn't lay as flat. So just something to consider if you're going to do this method, whether or not you want it to have that slit in the middle of the photo or not. But I loved how this photo turned out. I thought it looked so fall with the pumpkins and the flowers, and I just loved the little lobster. So this was one that I believe I had made in my prep pages. I'm not sure, but it's essentially just a piece of paper cardstock from the Heidi Swap Halloween Collection 2021, and I just folded it in half and punched the holes and then slit the holes on that side. On the back of that, I have my journaling for that day and then just some extra photos of the hotel. So this is Kevin sitting on the balcony looking out over the water. This is our hotel on the water. And then this is a picture of the hotel room. And then finally, day 9, we went to Acadia National Park. And I loved the scenery there. I loved all the leaves, the changing leaves there. That's a picture of me looking at the leaves from the Jeep. So I wanted to take a picture of myself driving through the park. And then we went to the beach there and Kevin wrote, KAT for Kevin and Tonya times 20 for our 20th anniversary. Wrote that in the sand. I got the stamp from the park. I always have to get a stamp from the national parks when we go. I usually buy a postcard and then just stamp on the back of the postcard. So I think this is a copy of the stamp from the postcard. And then we flew home. So we went from Bangor, Maine to Dallas, Fort Worth to Phoenix. And for this trip originally, if you guys saw my prep pages video, I was planning on putting it into a envelope like this on a field notes and then just sticking that in here. But it was just way too much stuff. It was way too bulky and it did not work. So I had to end up putting it just directly in the album, which I like how that turned out. Day 10, I'm calling this our Muppet Day. And it's basically because we sat in front of the TV and watched TV all day. And we watched the Disney Muppet Haunted Mansion show, which was new in 2021. So I have some journaling here about our Muppet Day. And then on the back, I have Squid Games, because after we watched Muppets, we watched the Squid Games the rest of the day. And for this one, I believe I had this background in my prep pages. It's just a bunch of sequins that are laminated into a size that fits into this album. So I just put them in there, make sure that they're all laying flat, and then run it through the laminator. And I like to cut the paper to the laminating sheet to the right size before I laminate, so then I don't have to cut through any sequins or anything when I go to cut it down. And then this is a TV digital stamp from Allie Edwards, and I just cut this out on my silhouette. I made it the size that I wanted. I cut 2 of them out on my silhouette, one facing this way, and then I flipped it and cut another one so that they would fit perfectly together back to back. And that's how I did that page. And I added these little buttons, which I think for some reason this reminds me of like monster eyes with monster teeth. Maybe it's just me. For day 11, I was talking about these circus animal cookies, which were a special edition for Halloween last year. And we kind of became addicted to these. We became obsessed with these little cookies. We ate them all the time. So yeah, that was probably not good, but they were delicious. And I haven't talked about the numbers yet. So what I'm using for the numbers is there's an Everyday Explorers stamp set that's like the week numbers 1 through 52. And so I just was able to use those to stamp on a piece of the plain cardstock that came with the collection and then punch those out. This is a 1-inch circle punch. And then this is a Tim Holtz, what does he call these? Metal ring. So this is a Tim Holtz metal ring. And then I have a tag press where I just stick everything in there and press down and it makes it flat. So I am for next year going to just be using metal rim tags and gluing the number on top of them because I think it's more cost effective that way. Again, here I added another ribbon trim from Tim Holtz. That's hard to say. For day 12, I am talking about books that I was reading in October. So I finished The Witches of Blackbrook, and I was reading this while we were in Ipswich, and it actually takes place in Ipswich at that estate that we toured. So that was really fun to visit that tour or visit that estate while I was reading that book. And then I was also reading this book called The Killing of Polly Carter, which is a Death in Paradise mystery. And they have, I think on BBC, they have this as a TV show, but it's based on these books by Robert Thorogood. And I actually ended up reading all of them. I loved those books a lot. This washi tape is from Martha Stewart. So you'll see a lot of times on the pages, I've been putting some washi tape there just to make it so you can't see through to the other side, and it just gives it a little bit more ephemera. This is from Tim Holtz. These are from Color Cast Designs, these little stars, and then more ribbon trim from Tim Holtz. The paper is from Heidi Swap, and then I stamped on top of it with this library stamp from, I believe it's Paper Person Shop, and then I just stamped. These are from that same stamp set, and then just wrote in the information. Day 13 is all about Friday the 13th. So I had picked up this Jason mug and I wanted to watch Friday the 13th because I'd never seen it before. So I had my mug with my hot tea and we watched Friday the 13th. And there's a little QR code that has a video of my Jason mug when I was heating up my tea in the microwave with his head like spinning around, which was really funny. So just talking about buying the mug. And then this is actually a sticker that I made. So I printed out this number 13. I got this from a Friday the 13th poster and just removed the background, printed this out on clear sticker paper, and then I actually embossed it with clear embossing powder so that it looks kind of like shiny, like blood. I don't know. I thought it turned out pretty cool. Oh, and this used to be, or it is, a pocket, and I had a tag here with my journaling on it before I put the 13 there, but it was so hard to pull out the tag with all of this bulk right here. So I ended up switching around, you know, and doing my journaling over here instead. But just to note, if you're going to do a pocket that has a tag that pulls out sideways, make sure it pulls out the other side so it's easy to pull out. Day 14, I was talking about Happy Mail that I got from my sister. So we do a Happy Mail exchange every single month, and every year we have a different theme or a different type of Happy Mail that we exchange. So for 2021, we were doing memory ducks cards every month, and then on the back, we would list out like 3 things about that month that we liked, or just 3 random things about ourselves, which was really fun because we got to learn a lot about each other, and it was fun. So this, I like having her words in my album. This is also a card from her. So she makes handmade cards and sells them on her Etsy shop, and she always sends me one every month. And I did just cut it up and put it in here, and I did a really poor job of cutting it up, but that's okay. It fit in here, and I like cut off the ribbon that was on there that looked really cute, but it's okay. It looks fine. And then I still have her card in my album. So I did the inside, add a little tag talking about our Happy Mail exchange, and I just put Happy Mail Day there, stamp that out. This paper is from her, so I'm not sure where she got that from. The background paper, this is Heidi Swap. Day 15, this was definitely in my prep pages, so this is again where I took a Heidi Swap cardstock and just folded it in half, and I sewed on 2 sides of it to make a little pocket. And I have this paper clip on there just keeping the pocket closed. And inside, if I can get it out, I have put together a little accordion fold out that has all the decorations that I liked from our neighborhood this year. And then just some journaling. So we have like a pop-up clown Jack in the Box. Just story talking about our neighborhood and how they kind of just go all out for Halloween around here. This is a digital story card, not story card, 3x4 story card, yeah. So it's a digital version, and I just made it into this is 4x4, and it's from Allie Edwards from her October Stories by the Month collection, and I get her October by the Month collection for October every single year. And I love to reuse all of her journaling cards. Journaling card, that's what I was trying to think of. Okay, this is one of our neighbors that they have crazy stuff at their house every year. So this year they decorated with a feast, skeletons having a feast on guts. And so this was like the guy going and getting all the guts out of the garbage. And then this table had all the skeletons around it with guts on their plates. They also do like, they have 3 garages and they turn them into like little vignettes every year for Halloween. So this one was just like a girl playing with all these creepy dolls in there, and it says come play with us. And then this, we have a neighbor that's obsessed with Ghostbusters, so everything in his yard is Ghostbusters, and he opens his garage and does a little Ghostbusters table that has all this stuff playing, or he has like the movie playing in the background. And then he has actual stuff that he's collected from the movies too. And this is just me in front of the the Ghostbuster ghost. This is one of those big, tall skeletons that was really popular this year. This is another one of the vignettes from my neighbor's yard. This is the guy with the saw hand, and he's cutting up people in there. This is a clown, I guess not a clown, it's a skeleton from the Ghostbusters 2016 movie. He's a Pilgrim Skeleton, I think, from when they have the parade. This is our neighbor's tree that actually died, and so they left it up for the month of October, and they made it into like the scary tree and added all these skeletons hanging from the tree. It was really cool. And this one, our neighbor was very creative. They have a light pole in front of their house, and so they had a skeleton on the pole, and then they have like this little kid skeleton back here covering up his eyes. And I think that's it. So I just like to remember what everyone decorated every year, because they change it up every single year, and it's fun to see what they do. On the back, just a filler page here. This is a die cut that I have, and it's a Day of the Dead skull. These are from Tim Holtz, where I think it's his tiny eyes. Yeah, tiny eyes. And then I popped them out of the backing and just stuck those on there. And this is a stamp from Heidi Swap. Day 16 is talking about how we didn't do any decorations this year other than this one guy that we picked up in Salem. So Kevin really threw out his shoulder. He actually maybe tore something in his shoulder. It was really, really painful. So he wasn't able to get down any of our decoration bins. And so we just decided not to decorate this year. And talking about that, this is another digital story card from Allie Edwards. I keep calling them story cards. Journaling card from Allie Edwards. And this is actually a bag that I picked up at Target. So I just redline taped down two sides of the flap, so it makes like a little pocket, and I have the journaling card stuck there. And then on the back, it has this little window, so I made it into a shaker pocket with some sequins, and then I added this die cut from Heidi Swap. All right, we're halfway through. That was days 1 through 16. Let's move on to the next one. So again, this is 17 through 31. And I kind of got a little bit more out of the pocket in this side, got a little more creative. I don't know why that is, but anyway. So day 17, I actually put a little magnet on the back of the number, and then there's a magnet behind the photo here, so it kind of just snaps closed. And I did that so it wouldn't like flip open when I'm turning the pages. So, and then it creates like just this little shutter kind of thing that you can open up and see the photo. So this is the Ghost of Mormon Row. So if you've ever watched any of my October dailies, you know that I always look for this ghost that my neighbor puts up in his yard. And it actually like it's a handmade decoration. It's super cool. It like floats. I think it's on a pulley, and it like floats up and down. Maybe I'll try to insert a video of that here. But it's really cool. It floats up and down, and I just love it. And so every year we go on walks around the neighborhood and look at all the decorations, and we look for this especially. So this year we saw it on October 13th. And then on this side, I did just a hole punch cut out here and added a die cut from Heidi Swap from her collection this year with a little puffy sticker from her collection. And then I put it on a string. So I just glued it on the string, and then I did the same die cut on the back, and then just stapled the string on there so it can kind of twirl around. This is from a Tim Holtz die cut, and I cut two of them, one front, one back, so that they would align up when I put them around the window. Day 18 is a show that I've become obsessed with. So this is Only Murders in the Building, and season 1 aired last year, and I think I rewatched it during October, so I had to include that in my October daily. And these are just pieces about about the show or things from the show. So if you haven't seen the show, it probably isn't going to make a lot of sense to you. But if you want to watch it, it's on Hulu. And this is just some Halloween paper. I don't remember what collection this is from, but it had these moons on there, and I thought it would be perfect to use those as like little circles that I could create a flap and then flip them open and just have some sticker or some journaling about the show. So this one has gut milk. This one is a sticker of the trio. And then on the inside is my journaling about the show. Day 18, who killed Tim Kono? That was kind of what the plot was about for season 1. This is Only Murders in the Building logo. And then this is Mabel in her iconic coat. Here is Sexy Scrabble and Chill. And then this one is Jan's Little Toxins. So that was fun to make that one. Day 19 is all about the movies that we were watching for Halloween. We actually didn't watch very many this year, which is kind of surprising. So I only had like 6 of them, plus our Harry Potter ones, of course. So this one I do have a process video on if you are interested to see how I made this page. But it's just a little window card with this little, I don't know what these are called, but it swivels down and then you can open the card with these little tokens, and it has a picture of the movie and the date that we watched the movie. So I have, let's see, that was Nightmare Before Christmas. Then we have Lemony Snicket's Unfortunate Events, a series of unfortunate events. Once Bitten, if you haven't seen that, it's an old Jim Carrey movie. It's like an 80s cheesy movie. It's pretty funny. Charlie Brown, gotta have Charlie Brown. Ghostbusters 2016. I know a lot of people didn't like this movie, but I really like it. And then Death Becomes Her. This is another like 80s movie that you have to watch. It's pretty funny. It has Meryl Streep in there. Oh my gosh, my mind's going blank on these other two. Bruce Willis and Goldie Hawn. Oh my gosh. I can't believe I didn't remember their names. But anyway, this is really funny too. Okay, day 20. I definitely had this in my prep pages, and a lot of people have asked for a tutorial on this, so I will be making a tutorial on how to make a page like this. But it's really fun because when you lift it up, all these little circles swirl around, twirl. So this is for day 20. This is talking about all the Lush bath bombs that I bought this year, Halloween Lush bath bombs. And it has a picture on one side, and then on the back side, it shows the description from the website of what it was. So I thought that was fun. And then on this side, I put a photo of me taking a bubble bath with my candle and my bath bombs there. And then this is my little decoration. And I put a tag in here just as Halloween fun, but then it has my journaling on the back about bath bombs and taking baths in the fall. For day 21, it's all about Spirit Halloween because I love to go to Spirit Halloween every year. I go several times during the season. And so I did another one of those accordion cards, which you'll see a lot in my album this year. It was fun to do that. It's a great way to include a lot of photos and journaling with a little space. So I just created this. I added a token or a little charm here of a spider. This is the Allie Edwards digital journaling card from her Stories by the Month collection. And this I made, this was in my prep pages as well, but I made it from an acetate background paper I got from scrapbook.com, and I cannot find it anymore. I'm so sad. So I can't even, like, usually if something's out of stock, it'll say notify me and you can get notified again, but I can't even find it anymore. So I hope they make it again. But I used a frame from the Halloween party collection, and I just glued down 3 sides of it to make it into a pocket, added some Tim Holtz hardware heads. Before I glued it down, I sewed in a piece of vellum over the top of the frame, so it just made it into a pocket instead of a frame. And I added the Spirit Halloween sticker on the front. And then on the back, I just repeated the same thing, just using a different frame. And for day 22, I'm talking all about our playlist and how it's hard to find music, Halloween music, that you haven't heard a million times. So anytime I can find more, I'll just add it in. But I stuck that in there. I kind of made this journaling card using Ali Edwards' Listen collection, and I can't remember where I got this spooky music from, but it's another digital stamp. And then more Tim Holtz hardware heads. This is from the Hey Pumpkin collection. So just a clear sticker, and then this is from Tim Holtz. Day 23 is all about treating myself to some Doc Martens. So I found this cut file on Etsy and just cut it out, added it in here. And here I created a little pocket. So I had a piece of white cardstock and I just glued the tissue that came in the box with my Doc Martens so that I could have the Doc Martens tissue and just stamp Doc Martens on there. Cut a little thumb notch here and then added some hidden journaling, talking about how I treated myself to Doc Martens and just a picture of the Doc Martens that I got. And that slides back in there. Behind that, I have a photo. So this makes up the back of that other pocket. And on this photo, I'm talking about my pumpkin spice latte because I get one every year. And I just punched out pumpkin spice life, added some puffy stickers. You can see my pumpkin spice latte back there with some cookies that we got from my mother-in-law. I always try to pick up a gift card from Starbucks during October because they usually have cute ones for fall or Halloween, and just did some journaling there about that. Day 25, talking about my mother-in-law coming into town, and she brought us some decorations because she knows how much I love Halloween. So we have some spooky ghosts here, and then she brought us this really cool lantern, and we have that hanging from our palm tree. Day 26 is Harry Potter. So I created this little pocket. This is from using an LA Studio die that they have that creates pockets. So if you are interested, you should definitely pick that up. I use it all the time. And I did a little tag here talking about Harry Potter movies, and I always get the illustrated Harry Potter book that comes out in October. So this year it was Harry Potter: A Magical Year. And this side was actually the page that took me the longest out of any page in this album to make. And it was, I don't know why, I think I was just trying to figure out the layout for the longest time. But I got these are slides that are dies from Tim Holtz from his Physics Chapter 3 collection this year. And I printed out a little photo of each of the movies that we watched. We only made it up to movie 5 this year instead of all 8 of them. But I just got a die for each one of the movies and printed out a little photo. I made it in black and white. And then on top, I added some mica tile, so it makes it look like broken glass, which I thought was really cool and it was fun. And then I just made a shaker pocket here behind the number. Day 27, 28 was also fun to make. I just punched out some 3x4 cards from this background paper, and I hand cut this little flip here. So it's not perfectly straight, but it's okay. And then behind there, I did put a picture, but I also put a little magnet again so that these would snap down to the magnet and keep them closed when I'm moving this page around. So 27, 28, they're both on the same page. Didn't have a whole lot going on. Day 27, I'm talking about a meeting where I had a video call, and so I wore my witch hat and was festive for the meeting. And then day 28 is when my mother-in-law came into town. So just a picture of me and my mother-in-law and how we loved having her out here for spooky season this year. Day 29 is another pocket that I made, and I just stuck in some, oops. Uh-oh, I lost my I lost my puffy star on there. All right, I'll have to add another one on there. But I had one on the front and back, and now it's sticking. But this is a vaccine card that I got from Paper Person Shop. I believe I just scanned this. Like I got a physical one and I just scanned it and then did my typed up journaling on the computer. On the back, I was talking about how I got sick from this vaccine booster that I had. This was my first booster shot. I've had another booster shot after that. This is showing, okay, let me start over. So I got really sick from the booster shot and I ended up having my heart racing the next day. Like my heart just was racing. It went up to 169 beats per minute and it was really high for over an hour. I was at the hairdresser when this happened and she was freaking out. She's like, I'm gonna call the ambulance, but it ended up coming down and I got better, but it was really scary. And I made these vaccine little cards from stamps from Paper Person Shop. Just added a charm here, added another sequin pocket behind the numbers. This is just a 4x4 insert that I just covered up the holes basically and then just punched this to add the charm. Had my journaling card in there, and then on the front of the pocket I sewed a Tim Holtz ephemera piece. Day 30 is at the pumpkin patch, so I always like to take a photo of us at the pumpkin patch and our feet there with all the pumpkins. This is a page I made in my prep pages, so it's a piece of that spiderweb acetate that I love so much, and then it just has a piece of paper wrapped around to form a pocket, and then I just glued this bottom part here. So there's a pocket here. Inside the pocket, I created a tag. So on the front, I have a picture of me and Kevin and his mom at the pumpkin patch. On the tag, I have Kevin and his mom at the pumpkin patch. And I love the little ghostie that's floating there. Don't know if you can see that. On the back is a photo of me and my mother-in-law carving our pumpkins in our witch hats at the table, which was fun. This ribbon is actually a Tim Holtz pattern from his, I think it's 2018 Halloween paper pad, and they made it into a fabric. So I got some of his fabric and loved using that for the ribbon. These are from Ali Edwards. So I use more of those on the back. And then again, this is a digital story card from Ali Edwards, journal card. I don't know why I'm calling them story cards all of a sudden. Journaling card from Ali Edwards, and just talking about our busy day that we had because we carved pumpkins. We went to the pumpkin patch, and we also celebrated Kevin's birthday because we were going to be out of town on his birthday. Then we get to day 31. So this is a picture of our front porch on Halloween night with our jack-o'-lanterns. Then I have 4 stories of Halloween. And I made these pockets again using that LA Studio pocket die. And again, I made these little accordion fold-out pages. And so I have 4 different stories. So the first one is talking about our costumes. Another digital journaling card from Ali Edwards that I just sized down. And we went as Wednesday and Pugsley Adams. Story 2, I'm not going to show because my mother-in-law asked me not to share, so I will not do that. But just talking about this fun time that we had doing Snapchat filters. Story 3 is all about our block party. So our neighborhood closes down the street and has a big block party on Halloween, and they have food trucks and dessert trucks and drink trucks. And then our neighbors actually hire people to, I don't know if they hire them, but they have people that dress up and they kind of run around and chase people, and it's really fun. And then story 4 is all about our front porch. So we left out just a bowl of candy this year and went to the block party, and I'm pretty sure someone probably just stole all the candy in one go, but I don't know. Again, another journaling card from Ali Edwards. This is my mother-in-law putting her witch hat on the skeleton, which she thought was hilarious. And then just a close-up of all of our jack-o'-lanterns. And on the very end, I have a quote card. This is from Allie Edwards' Physical October Stories by the Month kit. And it just says, in the entire circle of the year, there are no days so delightful as those of a fine October. And I completely agree. And then on the back, I just have the end of the album, which is just a laminated page to kind of protect the holes from getting ripped. And that is it. Another year done, and I will be back very soon to start sharing what I have ready to go for October 2022. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.